See, when you get meta about the minimalist concept, it's quickly apparent this applies to creating minimalist content. My focus isn't achieving more through exerting efforts and sacrifices. I really strive in minimalist living for things to be effortless, frictionless, from abundance. You shouldn't take it personally if the universe doesn't want to give you what you want. So we are revisiting the barn art side quest from the old minimalist diary series, and it's a chance to update an old idea with some new thoughts. This time I'm playing around with sketching videos up without huge input. I feel I'd make more progress right now if I used YouTube more as a sketch pad. I've been feeling that AI will be absolutely awesome for my projects since I'm not that technically skilled, but this means I absolutely need to focus my vision into developing deeply detailed structures. It's a low effort video format. The situation being represented here is a return to the barn after over 4 years to see what it's become from the start of that activity, because specifically for this video it's nice to see where the progress on the barn from the Farmlet Quest mission tree. But in this special minimalist diary update, you are encountering what you may consider a monster or a boss on this level. This box of crap is kind of some manifest apparition of many minimalist themes and concepts that swirled around the diary videos I was making, various updates I do on this channel where I keep tipping this box of junk onto the floor in an initiating act that I believe will become an artistic or conceptual proposition. But what actually happens is all of the crap in this box, which is mainly just random papers and posters, printed materials of an absolute range of sources and actual personal significance, it just sits on the floor in here in the barn or in the cabin over there, and I'd stare at it and nothing happens other than the usual around here. All kinds of birds and snails and rats start making their own use of anything that is unattended. A lot of the imminent angst of impermanence can be processed as I slowly realize it's all just a bunch of paper from which the significance has departed. That's what I was pushing through with the videos I was making before. Now I simply grapple with the artistic act, that in one sense the artistic concept can re-examine where that significance has now come to rest. But also that I'm back in this barn now because I'm illustrating how the practical questions of a livable way to utilize your home and possessions quickly proceeds in my frantic process of Tetris behavior, rearranging everything to really deep questions and deep definitions of how you define yourself through what you choose to own, and then the routines that inevitably follow from that. Once you see your life as routines based around possessions, you start to be able to isolate exactly where the significance of your actions originate from. The reason I own this box of materials is not because I see it contributes any huge value. It's purely because of my intention to ritualistically extract artistic and creative meanings from it. The product is an artistic one that provides me with a mental and feedback environment. I can be stimulated and thoughts triggered by fragments of things that are significant to me, where all the gigs and projects can be represented as something that reflects a more comprehensible concept. Do I want to paste all this paper on the wall of the barn like I did for so many years, putting up posters for gigs? Will it look good? Will it look nice? Probably not. It's more about the ritual involving this box that's been sitting here for too damn long. There is a process waiting to unfold which involves me pasting the paper to the wall. Last time when I was dressed as a Ninja Turtle and started setting fire to some of the stupid amounts of family stuff I had brought here, I was really just goofing around, but for me it's come to feel like accidental magic. It didn't turn out goofy at all. You can see for yourself that the barn has undergone a metamorphosis, and I remain here advancing on the course that I was on. It's all a process, and submitting to it is humbling yourself to the possibilities. It's about the journey of various objects, that there is a concept grasping the significance of old posters and projects you worked on over decades ago, but then there's another concept about possessions and objects and the journey they are on. There's something challenging in the concept of the society of disposable manufactured goods, but it's also weird to have sentimental attachment to items like an old flip phone you used to have. It seems to me like there's a fundamental balance between old and new, throwing away and hanging on. I think it helps to define the purpose of your possessions and your actions around them in order to understand that. I don't really understand this box completely, and that's part of its interest and challenge to me as an art project. But now I do see that it's kind of a fight encounter, where I have to beat this monster. Beating this monster means proceeding to the next stage, possibly with a special item drop or a new side quest available. So even though I just moved in, you're getting an idea of what the whole barn area looks like now. Just have a quick look around. A lot of changes in here, but it's still that same old barn. So this is the little nook that I've got set up here. I would usually be growing some of my little seedlings in there. There is a chance to use the space, even though I know I'm probably going to paint this place, but I don't really care. I just got the urge to get the stuff out of the box on the wall and deal with it. I have the paste and the brush, just like I used to use putting the posters up on K Road all night long. Alright, so here we are, we're underway. Already some interesting little pictures finding their way to interesting little places, but I'm just kicked off basically with a lot of these bits of paper. I told you that I don't even know why they ended up in that box. I can see here we got some beaches of Auckland and maybe like a teen magazine pin-up type thing. Max Ernst, The Attirement of the Bride from 1940. Cardboard doesn't stick to the wall, so obviously that's a different art project. The charging cord for my power box, live DJing, drum and bass gig. You know, it doesn't really matter if I decide that pretty soon I actually just want to paint the place anyway, because I can just tear all this stuff off the wall anyway. It's all about getting those really nice tatty textures there, you know, blends and bleeds. Holly Smith from 2007. And Osama bin Laden from 2011. Other interesting item I found was some of these slides that have been damaged. They're from, I think, the Street Fighter movie. Really comes back to that idea of one-of-a-kind type artworks that is really interesting. I mean, what's the vibe with the old posters? Is it glory days? Well, not really. You know, once upon a time somebody painted a whole ass oil painting and now it was just in the trash and I tried to save it, but look at it, it's too late. What am I going to do with it now? Here's a piece of wallpaper that was drawn on by the kids who obviously lived here before I even bought the place, so I thought this was just like the equivalent of an ancient cave painting, but you can see that it's become quite faded, so I don't even know if it's worth saving anymore, even though it's a totally authentic relic. And now we've got a board game from the 80s that is a knockoff of Monopoly, a plug-in USB keyboard which I never actually used, and classic old Han Solo. He's really just falling apart at the moment, so there's not as much on the ground that was in the box as I thought, and you always reach that moment in the project. There's some on the wall, obviously. I kind of don't want to put on the wall, but still I don't want to throw it away. And so you're delving deeper into that. It's like, what am I holding on to here? What exactly is it? You know, I've got some things I picked up that I found that are just quite small and interesting. I don't know where it's come from. It's an old sticker. Like Street Fighter 2, I think, was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. These are slides of the movie. It's like I said, it's interesting that you have these little objects that they're completely unique and have an aesthetic sort of look to them that triggered what I was thinking about the NFTs and all that sort of thing. It's this artificial scarcity that creates the perception of value because it's absolutely unique with an absolutely unique story. You're engaged in the aesthetic process of like, okay, which of these interesting random designs is best? Which one has value and which one has more value and which one has less value? More CDs and then certain thoughts. Oh, I could save them later on for an art project. Where you start packing it back into another box, being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do something with this later on. But actually that is all part of the process. What has succeeded in happening is some things are being stuck to the wall. Some things are finding their way through this journey, and I'm helping to understand why that's happening. You know, why you find certain things like, just an opening for a cafe that I used to go to, you know. Why am I wanting to save this and I don't want to put it on the wall? It's because a point in my life will occur where I won't even remember that I used to go to this place. I won't even remember this place because it was such a small part of my life, and that's what I see. I talked about, you know, old people, you know, the reason they get into such crabby spaces in their life is that they forget all the experiences and things that have happened over their life. And I don't want to forget. I want to be able to have that little access point. And maybe there is some value in saving a little bit of things that are just little and small and not sticking them to the wall because they have enough significance to trigger a memory. This World War II book is crazy because it's part of some other stuff that got left here by a tenant. They just leave all their stuff and they never come back and get it. And you look at it and go, oh, this was actually probably a really nice book. That, you know, it's got great photos that's part of what I'm going to do here is probably just find a few of the photos to add to my little wall over there. But the reason I kept it was sort of to think about that question. You know, somebody just left all this stuff. It had value. Somebody scrawled in the back and obviously left it open for someone to find. Mum, I have gone out the back. Come back tomorrow. I have no judgment about that. It just shows that the object has some kind of identity and history beyond simply being an encyclopedia about World War II. You know, family stuff and like nice books, someone just left it, they didn't care. I agonize so much over this stuff and the significance of it for me, and now I find it and go, man, I'm grappling with the significance of it on your behalf. But here's I also found John Rowles. And that's what I'm talking about. The episode with John Rowles only lasted a few weeks, but it was funny. I did like working with the colours and the light of, you know, broken bits of CD. I think I still like to do that, just to be able to smash them up and use them again for an artistic purpose. There's Slow Dive. That's the first CD I ever bought when I was 17. Look at it. It was an import. It's $29.95. Back in the mid-90s, that would have been so expensive. And so the negotiation begins. Like a few little objects I'm going to place into a new, smaller box. And I'm going to keep the smaller box. But, you know, stuff like this, which doesn't even have personal significance to me. The journey is over artistically and in all ways, really, for many of these scrappy bits of objects. This dirty, great big box is now finally getting empty. I mean, look at this genuine gollywog that is, you know, even older, way older than I am. And look at it. I mean, it is fighting. No one likes this gollywog. Everyone hates this gollywog. No one wants this gollywog to win. The universe does not want this gollywog to win, but yet it persists. I mean, to me, that's a story. That's why I don't want to just throw out the Golly. There's a story in it that ignites in my mind when I see it. I mean, this is a DVD cover for Brad Sugar's marketing course, which, I can't stick a DVD cover to the wall. But why am I saving this? Because I see it instantly as representing a little phase that I went through with my business of being I'm going to dress in my suit and talk about marketing. And that, again, it ignites a story in your mind. That's why I'm holding on to it. I take one look at this DVD and it ignites a whole lot of stories and ideas in my mind I had about a character that I was playing, or the character that I did play. That's why I'm hanging on to it. That's why it's going into the smaller box, because I'm going to pull it out of the smaller box later on and I'm going to go, that was some shard, that was a fragment of my identity that is preserved digitally, that has some digital manifestation. And I mean, that is fascinating characterization that makes for good stories. This is where it starts. The box represents cluttered thoughts, cluttered memories, cluttered influences, clouded possibly with doubts and unresolved ideas. But this uncluttering and clearing of all of this into somewhere that it feels... I mean, am I sitting here planning for my own death when I won't even be here and none of this makes sense at all? We don't have to be a part of what's going on in order for it to be relevant. That I've managed to forge some kind of relevance or some kind of significance out of this that persists even though I do not. And by that, I don't mean anything like a legacy or any kind of egotistical kind of tribute to myself. I mean an order that represents that things came to a close, that everything found its destination, that everything was resolved in the way that it was always meant to be. That I'm sitting here thinking, well, it's not just about the routines and the positions, it's about how ways of dealing with things relate to who you become. Your ways of processing and your ways of breaking down things then start to structure your whole personality and your character. Building routines on top of positions that become your habits and natural reactions, and then that basically starts to become your personality, your character, it's who you are. I'm experiencing some issues with peeling. I didn't quite make the glue strong enough for anything other than thin paper. It creates another layer to the situation, that what am I actually going to persist in trying to stick on there, and knowing that I simply can just pull it down if I don't like it. You've got to stay committed to your creativity, or the problems that gather up are just going to manifest and, take hold of you anyway. Allow yourself to be pushed and driven by the slave master of your inspirations and frustrations. That, the reaction to the inspiration is to feel frustration, feel anger, and that is passion to create art. And I mean, it's quite clear why I hung on to these. It's because Auckland is my hometown. I can't disconnect completely from Auckland, because then I will feel disconnected from my roots. There's one city in the world that I cannot drift too far from. We started with one idea, but I guess it's expanding a little bit. I thought that basically if I could set my little shelves up over here, it's going to be a great little apex for when my lights get turned on, when I got all my plants here, when they're done. Still having issues with peeling. You will see Borat's now completely gone. Even the poster wall is looking pretty raggedy. But luckily I found some more glue. So we're gonna make it a little bit thicker this time. How about that? Let's take a look now. Closing the net. We're bundling it up. Posters spreading out, blobbing out. And now little details. You see the curb joining the fray. You see the mental illness, the database brands just slipping in there, drum bass posters. Alright, next update. Things are moving along. The power box at the moment won't power my big speaker, so I possibly need a new adapter if I'm to look forward to more DJ moves. But as you can see, there's a dwindling amount of stuff on the floor, more stuff on the wall, and we're about to start steaming open the World War II book so I can get some of those photos, and we can see Han Solo has ascended to his new position. I knew the texture of this corrugated iron and the different textures in this corner would be a winner. Look at the old Curb promotion poster there up on the corrugated iron. A little bit of gig action there for the Soul Science, free DMB every Thursday at Foci. Oh yes, those little influences are starting to bleed in now. Yes, and the point is definitely being reached now. The children's drawings are coming out, and no, I don't think that's a children's drawing. That's actually some concept for some DJ art. See the cars in the Sky Tower. But, you know, that is the level it's getting at. Very few things left to throw up now. Alright, now look at that. That's looking pretty good. This is turning out awesome because I didn't know I was going to make so much progress so quickly and it would actually not look too bad. All the stuff that's left to go, and I have packed a lot of stacks of posters back into the that little box there, just simply because there's so many drum and bass posters, and I kind of did want to hang on to a little bit of, you know, the texture of the old posters that come off the university photocopiers where I used to go down there and get the cheap printing. And I'm not finished, but yeah, I just wanted that save game point. I know I made so much progress. I know that I didn't expect to get it up there and actually have it look good. So I'm pretty happy, and I'm not finished. I'm going to go do another round, but what I realized from what I still have left in here is that I can do it again. I can pull out all the ideas and get out of it what I need to get out of it, which is the fact that it's jump-starting my creativity. By doing just a quick, simple little thing, I'm able to get ideas going on in my head, get a lot of inputs from places that have created inspiration for me in the past, and yeah, I'm off on my on the road to new ideas. But this idea is still cooking in the pot. It's still something I can come back to and just keep the little details going on and just getting rid of that pile in the end. Like, I know I'm gonna paint this barn, but at the moment I just feel like I just have this urge to put the stuff in the box, on the wall, in the space. It just seems like it can go there, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's just on its journey to go there.